Now, when you hear people like Nico Leonard say, "God tier, ladies and gentlemen," it has to make you wonder, is Casio truly a God tier watch? Well, they do have a very wide variety of watches in their watch range from $15 all the way up to several $1,000s. This is going to be a list of my top 10 everyday Casio watch that you can be wearing right now on your wrist, ranging from $15 all the way up to $5,000, and $5,000 isn't even the most expensive Casio G-Shock I was able to find. Another reason I like these lists is because it gives you an idea of what a brand can accomplish. Now, there's a lot of watch snobs out there who stick up their nose at someone who's wearing anything less than a Rolex. And sometimes even those Rolex people will stick up their nose at the lesser models of Rolex or even something like Omega as not being good enough. Well, Casio has a giant line of watches that bear the Casio name. So it doesn't matter if it's $10 or $2,000, it's still a Casio. So this list is going to be a very wide range. Most watches on this list are under $150. Then towards the end of the list, it'll get to $350, $600, and finally a Casio that's $5,000. And it even hurts me to say right now that there's a $5,000 Casio, and that's not even the most expensive one. I'm going to do a whole video on the most expensive Casio I was able to find. Let's just hop right into the list at number one. Now, number one is going to be that classic Casio design. This one coming in at $15, and this one is going to be the Casio W-218H-1AVCF. And this is that classic Casio that a lot of people start out with, and even people who have huge watch collections will get this as a beater watch. It is that almost G-Shock design without the G-Shock design, and still again that Casio reliability. Now, this watch does come in at 46 millimeters in diameter, and a lot of the Casios on this list are going to be slightly larger than, what you're used to, and something like a dive watch is 40 millimeters. This one comes in at 46 millimeters, has a resin case, has a resin strap, offers time, calendar, stopwatch, some of the basic functions, and it is digital with a 3-year battery. Again, this one coming in at just around 15 bucks. Now, upgrading from here is going to be a design that I truly love, and that is going to be the Casio A168WA. Now, this is, again, they're all classic Casio designs. This one is a resin case that looks like stainless steel, but has a stainless steel bracelet, so you're up in the classiness just a little bit. But for $6 more, I think this pairs a little bit better than the first one that I mentioned, and that's because of the stainless steel bracelet. And a lot of people will complain that the stainless steel is chinky, it's cheap, but one of my favorite watches is the Casio World Time stainless steel. Now, this one is slightly smaller at 39 millimeters, so it's going to fit on the average wrist just a little bit better. And with that upgrade in class, that smaller case, it means it's going to slip under a cuff of something even like a suit a little easier. Only 30 meters of water resistance, time only with a calendar, stopwatch, and alarm function, but $21 is really hard to beat. Now, I mentioned it in the prior one, so we're going to raise the roof a little bit, keeping that stainless steel bracelet, and this is going to be the Casio World Time. Some people nickname it the Casino Royale, but the reference number is the AE-1200WHD. This is one of my favorite watches. One of the things I love the most about the World Time is going to be the LED display. I think they did a great job, especially in that upper right-hand corner. In the upper right-hand corner, you see that it has a world graph, and through this sort of display, you're able to cycle through all time zones around the world with quick adjustments. As long as you do an adjustment on your own native time zone, you can cycle through easily. It has multiple alarms, multiple time zones that you can program into it. Easy to read display, 50 meters of water resistance. It does look great in a suit. I have worn this thing dressed up and dressed down, and I even put it right here. You can see on a Vario strap that they make specifically for this Casio. So you can even dress it up with something like a higher quality leather strap. Now the Casio World Time Casino Royale comes in at about 39 bucks, but you can find it on sale normally on Amazon for about 31. Now the Casio World Time Casino Royale can be picked up almost anywhere. That includes Walmart. When I first bought my Casio World Time, it was at Walmart and it was 29 bucks. Now, upgrading even more with class is going to be a gold watch, and I'm actually wearing the watch right now, and it still is going to be the prior model but upgraded in the gold, and that is going to be the Casio A168, but this one is going to be the WG. Now this one comes in at around 40 bucks, and I picked this up on Amazon, and even though my fiance says this thing looks gaudy because of the gold, I just think it just adds another level of class to your collection. Now, if you don't have much money, but you just want the feeling of just something nice on the wrist, it's really hard to beat what Casio offers in the A168WG. It offers all the functionality of the number 2 on this list, and that is time, only 30 meters of water resistance, sadly, a stopwatch, a couple of alarms, and it really does have a really nice backlight for an LED display so you can see it in the darkness. I think this thing looks very classy with the gold. Again, fiance doesn't like it too much, but this one I am doing a review on in the next video. So if you want a more comprehensive review, this Casio gold-plated digital watch, that'll be in the next one. So stay tuned for that. Now the next one on the list is going to be number 5, and it's going to be the first analog watch listed on this list. Now, this Casio I think looks pretty amazing. And if I were to compare it to a luxury alternative, it would be an alternative to like a Rolex OP or Perpetual, or even if you want to go sort of lower to mid tier, maybe like an alternative to the Seiko Presage. Now this is going to be the Casio MTP-E180D-2AVEF. Now all these watches are going to be listed down below. Now this one comes in at 42 millimeters, and this is more of that classic watch design you'd see in things like Seiko dress watches or any other type of dress watch. It's really nice that Casio has kind of gone out of the realm of things like the G-Shock, because that is their main series, and have done something like this Casio. Now at 42 millimeters, it is slightly larger than a lot of watches of that sort of dress style, but it only is 7 millimeters thick, so it's going to slip under the cuff very nicely. Now the one I chose here is a blue dial, and I chose that blue dial for a reason, because it just adds a little more depth into the dial, and I think that you can pair it a little easier than with, you know, something like a silver or black dial. Those are pretty plain Jane, and it's really nice to have something different like this blue. Now this one specifically is also on a bracelet. And anytime, I always recommend getting a watch, it's on the bracelet first if that comes stock, and then getting something like a chase strap from chasestraps.com, link down below, my own personal watch strap company, getting an aftermarket leather strap, because it's just going to be easier to obtain those aftermarket leather straps than find a stainless steel bracelet that's going to match the case. Always get the stock OEM bracelet and then upgrade to something leather or like a NATO strap later. This is a full stainless steel case, mineral crystal covering the dial, so not a sapphire, but we'll get into sapphire in the next one. And it is a quartz movement, and this one comes in at around 90 bucks. Now the next one on the list, we are upgrading even more. Now this Casio is also called the Edifice, and the Edifice was featured on a fellow watch YouTuber's channel, Ben's Watch Club, and he did a really great job diving into the details of this watch. I will link that video in the description as well, because he really did a wonderful breakdown. One of the things that I do love about the Edifice is the fact that it does have a full solid stainless steel case and bracelet. He was a little nitpicky with the bracelet and case, but we're talking a watch that's 140 bucks, and it does have a sapphire crystal covering the dial, which is really lovely to see. It's nice that they finally started upgrading in the sapphire, because a lot of people do mineral crystal or glass or hardlex, right, plexiglass, and the dial just looks like garbage because the crystal's scratched up. On this watch, the construction is more substantial than any of the other ones I've listed, so we are upgrading at this point. And again, this watch comes in at $140. Now, for everybody out there who loves smartwatches, I had to do the brand new Casio G-Shock Move that I saw walking through the store. A lot of people surprisingly love their smartwatches. They love their Apple Watches, and in fact, I'm going to do a video probably in 2 weeks where I'm going to show you what the average police officer and first responder wears on their wrist every single day while working the streets. Now, I can already tell you that 90% are Apple Watches. There are a couple people who don't wear Apple Watches or Garmin smartwatches, but most are going to be Apple Watches. So for those who love their smartwatches and don't want to get away from the fact that they're physically fit and they want their fitness tracked, now we're looking at the G-Shock Move. Now this one comes in at $299 as the base level and goes up from there. I've seen some as high as $399, so you're looking anywhere from $300 to $400 starting with this watch. Now, you guys can let me know in the comments whether or not you're getting good value for your dollar at $300 because of some of the things they have to offer. Now, I remember people wearing the Fitbit for a long time. A lot of people now are wearing the Whoop, and people still wear Apple Watches or smartwatches that kind of track their fitness. And that's really what this does. This is more of a fitness tracker or a fitness watch, sort of like a Fitbit that attaches to your phone via Bluetooth, but looks like a G-Shock. The Move uses a Bluetooth link to your phone, and it shows you things like walking, running, hiking, riding bikes. It also does have a wrist heart rate measurement, so you can always look down and check your heart rate on the fly. It gives you things like target heart rating while you're exercising. It gives you graphs so you can see what your zone should be. It also has things that show you and display your sleep patterns, so it allows you to analyze your sleep patterns to maybe get better sleep. Now, all that being said, it seems like it's a pretty good watch, but it does what an Apple Watch would do, right? An Apple Watch is not great as an independent device, but it is hooked to your phone. Well, it's the same thing with this G-Shock. It's attached to your phone via Bluetooth. Because of that, does it offer a lot standalone? Not really. I mean, you can check your heart rate on the fly, but I can also check my heart rate on the fly for free. So I don't think $299, you're getting a lot for just being able to have a basic fitness tracker, but it does look like a G-Shock and it handles like a G-Shock and it has great water resistance and great durability like any G-Shock would. So if you want a G-Shock watch that also offers some fitness tracking, then maybe the Move is right for you. Now this thing only lasts on a single battery charge for anywhere from 16 to 19 hours. So I'm not really convinced at this point whether or not the G-Shock Move is any good. Now moving up even further on the list and cost, we're looking at the G-Shock GSTEEL GST-B100-1ARC. Now this one is a massively rugged watch and comes in at 53 millimeters in diameter. So yes, you will have that Flavor Flav clock on your wrist, but that's to be expected for most G-Shocks. Now at $350, what are you really getting? Well, one of the things that you are getting is the most accurate watch you can find. And for that accuracy, it connects digitally through your phone via Bluetooth, and it automatically updates the time from your phone 4 times a day. So you're getting a more accurate read on the time. Now, this also helps you when you're traveling. Every time you land at an airport and you take your phone off of airplane mode, it automatically updates the time. This will automatically update the time on your G-Shock. It also has every time zone for over 300 cities worldwide and automatically adjust your watch again on the fly. Is that worth the $350? Well, it is a solid steel construction, so you are getting more of the durability, the more high-end feel, the more substantial feel of weight on the wrist with this G-Shock. I like the fact that it does automatically update the time. It's just one less thing you have to worry about. For this one, it does have a solar-powered quartz, so you never have to worry about changing a battery. And this one offers 200 meters of water resistance. So everyday life, you never have to worry about it ever. You never have to charge it, you never have to set the time, and you never have to worry about water resistance. Now the second to the last on the list, and we're still increasing in value. We just doubled it from $350 to $600, and that is going to be the Casio G-Shock Full Metal 2100 series, and this one specifically is the GMB 2100 GD-9A in gold. Now, when I saw this watch, I was like, man, that is a nice looking watch. If I was Donald Trump and I didn't want to wear a Patek Philippe, I would wear this G-Shock. Now, this one does have that classic Casio that you've come to know and love. And in gold, all you can think is classy, classy, classy. Now, what does it offer for $600? The case size is 49 millimeters in diameter, the thickness of 13 millimeters, full stainless steel case and bracelet. Sadly, just a mineral crystal covering the dial. I think this is ridiculous. Now, the other 2100 series I've done a review on, the Casio that I've done a review on, I actually upgraded the glass, and I will leave a link right here to that upgrading mod. For like $6, you can put Gorilla Glass on the outside. That makes it shatterproof and scratch resistant, and if you ever do scratch it, you just peel it off and put a new one on. I don't know why Casio just doesn't put something like a sapphire crystal on a watch that's $600. It's not going to cost them any more money. Now, there's not a whole lot to be said about the Casio because there's not a whole lot of options and functionality on this watch. It does have an analog design. It does, down at the 4 o'clock position, also have a digital feature on it, so you can see both digital and analog. It does have a stopwatch. It does have the ability to add alarms to it and do stuff like that. But I found it more complicated using the analog feature of this watch than to just use a cheaper Casio digital. But I would say that it looks like, especially in gold, the James Bond of the Casio brand, outside of the Casino Royale, of course. Now, last but not least is the $5,000 question, and that is going to be the $5,000 Casio G-Shock limited edition, and this one is going to be the Casio MR-G Frogman, specifically the MRG BF 1000R1A. Now, if you are thinking that Casio is God tier, then maybe it is. But for $5,000, what are you getting out of this Casio? Now, if you told me, Chase, you spend $5,000 on this Casio, and like a tiny transformer, it transforms into my new girlfriend, then I would tell you, let me run my credit card and make sure I have $5,000, and I'll give it to you right now. But for $5,000 for a Casio quartz watch, what features does it have that makes it $5,000? Okay, I'm just going to stop right here. So what they're telling me is that an ISO certified diver, which is a lot of divers under $500 are ISO certified, for 200 meters of water resistance, is not even 300 meters of water resistance. And yes, you do get that classic iconic Frogman design, and it does have the Frogman character on the back, and it even has a gold plated plate on the back that's not even made of gold, it's gold plated, and for $5,000 you'd think that it would be made of solid gold. And it is tough like a G-Shock, but my God, $5,000, I just don't understand. Like, it doesn't, like, I can't use it like a satellite phone, right? I can't use it like one of the Breitling emergency watches where I can pull the cord and 40,000 feet, it shoots up the signal to save my life. It doesn't have that. And it does offer multiple time zones and a stopwatch, so that's cool. And it's massive on the wrist. It's huge. So I definitely can read it under the water when I use it, but it's not a dive computer. It's not even a dive computer. So I don't understand why it's $5,000. Maybe you guys can tell me down below. I couldn't believe it when I saw this. Yes, it's a Frogman watch, but I could go spend $1,000 and I could buy a dive watch. I could go buy a Garmin Descent Mark II that is a dive watch that offers almost the same thing except better, and it's $1,200, and it has a Bluetooth sensor to go on my tank so I can see what my air pressure is. This doesn't even offer that. Anyway, let me know down in the comments. There's a $6,400 Casio I will be doing a video on because the prices just kept going up, and I had to stop at $5,000 just to say, okay, Casio watches from $15,000 to $5,000, and I could have went up to $55,000 and $6,000 and $6,400, and I couldn't believe when I hit $6,400 I had to stop. And I was like, I don't care how much money I have, I couldn't spend $6,400 on a Casio. I don't care how god tier it is because it's not that god tier. Now, what do you guys think? This is just a quick video. Well, it's probably not a quick video at this point, but this is just a quick video of my top 10 from $15,000 to $5,000. If you guys are looking at a Casio, look at one of these, especially the first 6 watches on the list. You're getting a lot of watch for not a lot of money. Now, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment of the content you guys would like to see on this channel. Again, this Casio A168WG is going to be fully reviewed in the next video, releasing in about 2 to 3 days. So look out for that, and I will see you guys in the next one.